I'm sorry you just left the room even before I start telling what I'm going to tell you. And it's going to be hard, so maybe that's better for those who are not here, because what I'm going to talk to you about, and it's not an easy subject. But I was very grateful to Daniele when he invited me to be here, because this is something we really need to talk, not just as part of associations, but as parents, as caregivers. We have a responsibility. It's a very important one, very tough one. Sometimes we have to be very strong, brave. So yeah, I'll get into it. And because it's going to be a little emotional, but we are not so many, so maybe we can we can keep it between us. If we have some tears, it's okay. So yeah, just like I've been introduced, I'm Samantha Carletti, and I'm the president and founder of Palliser-Killian Syndrome Association, which is the first association in Europe that is taking care and supporting the families and financing the research for this rare condition, which is somehow similar to CHAMP1, somehow worse. But yeah, we are in the same boat. And so we can go with the slide one, yes. So this is my son, Giacomino. And Giacomino was born on June 7, 2011. He's my third child, my third and youngest boy. I have 3 boys, yeah. And when he was born, we immediately noticed that there was something weird, something different. And of course, like you can see, he has these dysmorphic traits. And we received, when he was just 1 month old, the diagnosis of Palliser-Killian syndrome, which is a double duplication of the short arm of the 12th chromosome. So it's not inherited, it's sporadic. And as soon as he was born, I realized how little was known, how alone families were, and how many questions they needed answers to. So when he was just 4 months old, I founded PKS Italia, the first Italian association for Palliser-Killian syndrome, the second in the world after the American one. And because knowledge didn't exist at that time, we had to build it. And Giacomino became the heart of a community, connecting families, inspiring research, and showing the how a powerful creature could really be so powerful, so meaningful in his life. Slide. When Giacomo was 11 years old, he passed suddenly for SUDEP, which is sudden unexpected death in epilepsy. He passed while we were in Vienna, in Austria, not in Italy. And that was a curse and a blessing at the same time. A curse, of course, because it was very difficult to handle that moment, that terrific moment. It was totally unexpected. He was super fine, very happy, very healthy. Actually, this picture is just 1 month before he passed. And he was so really fine, so not even a cold. Nothing was going to prepare me at that time that his life would have been so short, unexpectedly short. So it was a curse because it was very difficult from like being far from the family. I had to call the older brother, my eldest son, to be here, to be there with me and support me in that moment. And because he passed during the night alone at home, the police was involved, so it was really tragic and traumatic. But it was also a blessing because of what I decided then could not have been possible if I were in Italy. Yeah, because I decided to donate his brain to the research. Yeah, yeah, this is the tough conversation that we are going to have today. And I know that it's really, really like a taboo. We don't want to talk about this because it's something that we don't even want to consider, but we cannot hide ourselves behind something that we have to be aware that sometimes our children's expectancy of life is shorter than the normal. But in any case, even if our children were totally healthy, or the same, it's the same for ourselves. Like, I mean, if we can support the research in some way, and if the donation of our brain or a part of our body can be helpful for the research, we have a responsibility as parents, and especially in that particular moment of history, because this is for the, I think we are just in the same situation, CHAMP1 and PK and polycircadian syndrome. We started something, a movement. We started something that was not there before. And just thanks to what we are doing now, we are finding and other families can have a support, a network of support, and they have somewhere and someone to refer to. So we have this responsibility towards other families, towards our children, towards ourselves, and towards the science. So I chose to donate his brain for research because I wanted his mission to continue. Right in that moment, when I found him on his bed, I was just like numb and completely speechless and devastated. But I thought, what can I do now? How Giacomo will continue to help the other children just like he did until now, with just the fact that he was born and the association was born with him. And so many families found an association to refer to. So this is why I'm here today, not to stay in the sadness of that moment, but to share how that choice can shape what the world will know tomorrow. So this is not a story about loss. And sometimes it's not easy to talk about this. It's only 3 years. Only 3 years have passed since he was gone. And sometimes, like, it's tough also for me to talk about this and him. I don't even believe that he's not there anymore. But this is not a story about loss. This is a story about continuing. Okay, maybe we got lost. Yeah, thank you, sorry, because but I will go faster right now. Okay, so when we live with a rare condition, like PK, polycircadian syndrome, or CHAMP1, we live with uncertainty. There are so few cases, little clinical and natural history data, and many unanswered questions, especially around causes of death and disease progression. Autopsy and donation are not about death. I have many families that when their children passed, they just told me, oh, no, they went through so much. I didn't want an autopsy to be performed because they suffered already too much. They're not going to suffer. They're gone. But knowing the causes of death are so, so important for the natural history, for the science, for the other children who can benefit from this. So I know that it's especially because we are caregivers. So since their birth, we have to take care of them. We want the pain to go away. We want them to be as happier as they can be, even though they are disabled, or but we just want to take care of them. So it's a very difficult choice. And sometimes there are also some cultural, religious, taboo or frames that we have to go over these frames. We have to go over this for the good, the bigger good. So autopsy helps us learn what truly caused that, which organs and systems were affected, how the condition evolves inside the body. And without this crucial knowledge, disappears forever. If we don't do that, we will never have those answers. Donation for research gives scientists access to real human tissue, something that no test, no MRI, no CT scan, no study in life can replace. Every single donation, even one tissue, can change what science knows. So by allowing autopsy and donation, we give researchers what they cannot get in another way, answers. Those answers can save lives in the future. Slide. So before we go further, I want to clarify something very important, maybe already obvious, but still, there is a difference also in how these two kinds of donations are regulated. So donation for transplants is not the same as donation for research. Transplants save or improve another person's life. Donation for research does something different. It creates knowledge that can help generations. Research donation allows scientists to study the organs, the tissue, or the brain of someone with a rare condition, to understand mechanisms, biomarkers, progression, and outcomes like epilepsy or SUDEP. I don't know if did you ever heard about SUDEP? No. Do your children have epilepsy? Some of them, okay. So the first time I heard the word SUDEP was 3 days after Giacomo passed. And I'm studying and reading all the studies that are available about epilepsy and all the issues that have children with PKS. I never once heard the word SUDEP, sudden unexpected death in epilepsy. I really didn't know that a child with epilepsy, even if they only had one seizure in their life, may die suddenly. It's like the SIDS, SIDS, sudden unexpected death in babies. There are no knowledge about this, why it's happening. And I was a little bit shocked and angry also, again, like towards my doctors, the neurologist. I just asked him, why you never told me that could be possible, that he could die because of a seizure, after a seizure, or even if he didn't have a seizure, but that could happen. And the answer was like, when children have epilepsy, so what we can do is try to make their life better with the drugs, somehow like improve their level of life, quality of life. But what if we tell the parents that their children can die suddenly? So we would do just the opposite. We would worsen the quality of life of the parents. They will never sleep. No, right? Yeah. So, two different purposes, different recipients, of course, two different legal frameworks, two different kinds of legacy, both precious in different ways. And pay attention, in most countries, opt-out laws for transplants do not apply to scientific or anatomical donation. Research donation always requires explicit, informed consent. The crucial point is when this consent must be given. whether it can be expressed after death or must be prepared before. This makes all the difference, and we will look at this together in the next slide. So across countries, there are two main systems. Opt-in, you must say yes during your lifetime, otherwise no donation is allowed. So this is the case in Italy. Even for organ transplants, donation, when you get your ID card, you have to say, yes, I want to be a donor. Okay, and you will be immediately, your name will be registered in the registry of donors. And opt-out, you must say no if you don't want to donate. So some countries, like Italy, US, Japan, and many others, are opt-in system, and others, like Austria, Spain, France, and UK, have the opt-out system. So you are a donor unless you decide you don't want to be a donor. But even in opt-out countries, brain donation for research usually requires explicit consent. So what happened in our case is that after informing the medical examiner immediately of my intention to donate Giacomo's brain and his organs to the research, both parents, we formally registered our consent with a notary in Vienna, specifying the University of Bologna as the recipient of the donation. And this happened after Giacomo's death. Slide. In Italy, post-mortem donation for scientific research is possible only if we give consent while alive. This is regulated by law number 10 of 2020, entered into force during COVID pandemic, so that went very silent. No one was talking about it. This law allows a person to donate their body or tissue after death for study, training, and scientific research by individuals who pay attention, have expressed their consent while alive with a formal written declaration. Parents or legal guardians can express this consent for a child or a person unable to decide, and it must be done before death. So I bet that no parents will ever do that because it's like we are superstitious and whatever, like, no, it's bad luck. Why do I have to decide my son is healthy, is fine? I mean, yeah, he has a condition, but he's fine. I don't want to think about that. This is something that I don't want to think about. And this is where I want you to really discuss and take this seriously, because it may be too late if you don't decide this before. Slide. So to make this decision legally valid in Italy, so I'm talking about Italy, but I know that you're coming from different countries. They are quite similar, like, except in Italy we are more restricted, okay? So in other countries where there's the opt-out system, especially in the countries with the opt-out system, you can decide after the death. Yes, yeah, this is what happened to me. I mean, if I was not, that's why it was a blessing to be in Austria in that moment, because I decided, of course, when it happened, and if I was in Italy, that could happen. So, I was talking about this law. This law allows a person to donate their body or tissue after death for study, training, and scientific research by individuals who have expressed their consent with a formal written declaration, which is called DAT, is this Advanced Healthcare Directive. Parents have to decide it before. So we were talking about that. To make this decision legally valid, we need this Advanced Healthcare declaration that is regulated by law number 219 of 2017, Advanced Healthcare Directives Law, also called in Italian Legge sul Biotestamento. This law recognizes the right of every person to freely and consciously express their wishes regarding medical treatments and post-mortem donation. In the DAT, we must clearly state that we wish to donate the body or specific tissues for scientific research after death and indicate the receiving center that is authorized to accept the donation. The centers, there are only 10 centers in Italy, and these are the 10 centers allowed to receive the donations for research purpose. The DAT must be filled with the municipality, filed to the municipality, and or the ASL, the local health authority, or a notary, not for free, but with fees. Sorry. In the DAT, we also appoint a fiduciario, a trusted person who will confirm our will at the time of death, speaking to doctors and authorities on our behalf. If the DAT is not done, the donation cannot take place. And this is where many families miss the chance, because no one informs them early enough. Slide. So, what can we actually do in Italy to make research donation possible? There are few key steps, and they all need to happen during life. First, we prepare a DAT, the Advanced Healthcare Directives. This is where we clearly write our wish to donate the body or specific tissues. So if it's only brain, if it's liver, if it's brain and liver and parts of tissues, they are small samples, very small samples in wax. I just carried them myself. So the brain is, and we will go to that part later, right now. But you can specify, okay, and where, and you have also to indicate the receiving centers. Then you have to appoint a fiduciario, a trusted person who will speak on your behalf at the time of death and ensure your wishes are respected. You have to deposit the DAT so that it becomes legally valid with your municipality, the local health authority, or a notary. And finally, you inform your family and your doctors so that no one is surprised and the fiduciario, the trusted person, can act smoothly when the moment comes. Because remember, in Italy, we have a mandatory opt-in system. No donation is possible without explicit consent given in life. I can't repeat it more because that's... So the very first step, and maybe the hardest, is simply to start talking about this, to plan ahead. Be ready. If you want to, be ready. Don't wait. Not because we want to imagine the worst, but because planning is an act of love. And it keeps the door open for this gift when the time comes. Slide. There is another important point we need to clarify, because when we talk about donation for research, we often mix two things that are actually very different. Whole body donation and brain donation or tissue donation. They do not follow the same pathway. They do not have the same purpose and are not covered equally by Italian law. Whole body donation, as regulated by 2020 law in Italy, is mainly used for medical education and anatomical training. It helps universities train future doctors, exercise on body, do surgeries, do autopsy, whatever they have to do, which is super important, okay? But that maybe this is not what we would like, our goal. And it is managed by the 10 authorized universities that we listed before. So its primary purpose is teaching and training. Brain donation, instead, is much more specific. And for us, in the rare disease community, especially with neurological conditions, it has a unique value. Brain donation is used for scientific research and neuropathology to study the brain, the cells, the neural circuits, and the disease mechanism that no MRI, no CT scan, just like I said before, nothing can reveal during life. So if body donation can teach doctors how to treat, brain donation can teach science why these conditions happen. This is why we must not think of them as the same thing. These are very different things. Slide. Now, why is brain donation so important and also so much more challenging? First, because it is not fully supported or clearly defined in the 2020 Italian law. It requires a different pathway, very rapid post-mortem collection. Ideally 24, 48 hours maximum, which is, ideally, no, the maximum. Specialized procedures and access to brain banks, which are often not the same centers that take the whole body donation. As highlighted by researchers such as Bolcato and colleagues, brain donation is still less standardized, both in Italy and worldwide. There are few brain banks in the world, in Europe. One is in Paris. They have agreements with many hospitals. In Italy, there is one in Brescia, but they only accept brain donations of people who are in 50 kilometers proximity. So it's So the National Institute on Aging calls brain donation a gift for future generations because it gives scientists access to human tissue that can unlock mechanisms impossible to study during life. And for ultra-rare neurodevelopmental conditions like PKS and CHAMP1, the brain gives us a window we otherwise do not have, a window into neural networks, cognitive systems, and the mechanisms behind epilepsy, regression, and severe outcomes, such as SUDEP. This is why brain donation carries an extraordinary scientific value, especially in rare disease research. It is not about looking at death. It is about giving life to knowledge that can help others in future. Slide. I know this is a difficult topic. We are parents. We imagine our children's lives. I knew I was going to be emotional, and not their death. Thinking of autopsy or donation feels unnatural. There is not a word to define a parent who loses a child. That's so unnatural that no one wants to talk about this. It's against nature. One word. They found one word, which is viloma, which in Sanskrit means against nature. And this is how we are starting to call ourselves. We are viloma. Maybe in 10 years, we will have a name, because not having a name is not nice. You really don't know where you are. It's painful and it's taboo. But the truth is, if we do not think about this conversation now, the chance is lost forever. Not because we wish it, not because we expect it, but because love sometimes asks us to be brave in advance. Preparing this in life is not a sign of losing hope. It is a sign of responsibility, legacy, and love for our child and for others. What we choose today as families and as a rare community can change what the world knows tomorrow. So I hope that Giacomino is going to... Yeah, so autopsy and donation are not about death, they are about continuing to teach, to help, to guide science. Some lives keeps helping others, just like Giacomino, long after they are gone, if we allow them to. So if you remember only one thing from today, let it be this. Love can continue in the form of knowledge that helps others. Slide. So thank you. Thank you for listening, for your courage, and for choosing knowledge, love, and legacy. And I'm here. I know it's late. I hope I just was not too long. But if you have questions, I'm here and happy to answer. Or you can just send me an email. And if you need more information here in Italy or elsewhere, I would be happy to help. Also, as an EPAG, together with Daniele, we are advocates and representatives in the European Reference Network. So this year we are going to focus on natural history in Bergen in Norway during our General Assembly. And this is a work that we want to do also to harmonize the rules in Europe because it's too fragmented. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very emotional speech. Is there any question that you would like to make? Wait, please. Yeah.
I'm so sorry for your child. I know it's very, very hard, especially when it's sudden. I know Alistair Callian when I, more than 25 years ago, was a genetic analyst. So I had a lot of times seen the indication of Alistair Callian. So I was surprised that you didn't know it. So that was for me, so how could it be?
Of what? Of SUDEP that I didn't know?
No, not the SUDEP, but the Pallister-Killian syndrome.
Yeah, we knew when he was 1 month, like we received the diagnosis.
Yeah,
but he was the first child to be born in Bologna with this.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. Because how many children are with
we are
PPS?
like 50-something in Italy.
50,
but
okay.
yeah, around 400, 500 in the world, but it's very misdiagnosed, underdiagnosed. So Professor Kranz from Children's Hospital in Philadelphia thinks that this is the second cognitive mental delay in genetic mental delay condition after Down syndrome. So we are talking about so many cases that we don't know about.
It's also a big part, mostly.
Yes.
Yeah. The second one is what you said about a word. There is another word in Holland. We call it living last. Because when you have something what you wish that it will be on whole your life, you lost it in your life. So
it's
that's the word, what we call it.
It's a tsunami.
Yeah.
Because our lives are just turning around our children's life. Especially my son he was not verbal, he was not walking, so he was on a wheelchair, so the house was ready for him, everything was like not prepared for him, and so it's like all of a sudden like it's just like an earthquake and you lose everything. So you just have to remap your brain, restart. I also had other two boys, and my eldest was already a father, so I was a grandmother. My granddaughter was like 2 years old, 1 year old when he passed, when Giacomo passed. So I also had other children, but at the beginning, like you can't function. It's so devastating that. Yeah, it takes time, it takes a lot of work, and sometimes I just think like you can be prepared if your child is often hospitalized. No, I mean like, but you're never ready. You're never ready.
No,
but for me, like I just put him in his bed. I kissed him good night, and I went in the morning to wake him up. We had like a sports day at the park, and we were going to have a lot of fun in Vienna. And I went there and he was gone. So that was like,
Very, yeah, hard. The third one, what I want to ask, how is it with no reanimation legency? Because we have for our son, because he has always ill and also captured by the hospitals. Last year he went months on the ICU because he has a pneumonia and a broken appendix. That was very, very hard. So we had also said we don't want no reanimation at all. How is that in Italy?
why there was no instructions, you mean?
No, if you don't want that he would be reanimated,
Oh.
it's also a form
Yeah, you
of.
can. This can also be part of the biotestament. Like you can decide what you want. Like if you don't want to be, in case if anything happens, you say I don't want to be reanimated or resuscitated or whatever. Like you can just decide this in advance in Italy.
Okay,
You have
just
to
in
decide
advance,
it.
not
In my
after.
case, unfortunately,
Okay.
that was not the case because when I found my son, he was already gone. He was already gone. So there was nothing I could do.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I want to thank all the